Hi, and welcome to Pep Talk with me, Rich Pepperell. Over the course of these videos, I'll be introducing you to my flipped classroom. We'll be finding out what flipped learning is, how you can produce your own flipped resources, and finally, how to deliver and manage your flipped classroom. In this first video, we'll be asking, what is a flipped classroom? How does flipping your classroom work? And what are the benefits of flipping your classroom, both for you and your students?
So firstly, what is flipped learning? Well, at my school we'd historically been doing a pretty good job with our A to C students, and after some work on literacy and numeracy and language of learning, our CD conversion rate was up too. However, we still had a couple of groups of students who needed some input, namely our AA star students who needed a bit more stretch and challenge, and our lower ability students who needed a bit more support in order to make good progress. Just by chance, I overheard our local secondary science advisor mention the term flipped learning in the conversation, and I thought it was probably worth a Google. And what I found out really piqued my interest, particularly as I was quite into using technology in the classroom. So, how does it work? As the name suggests, flipped learning involves inverting the standard format for delivery of lessons and content. The traditional lesson structure involves delivery of prepared content and guided instruction in class, followed by homework tasks which assess and consolidate understanding. The flipped classroom, however, turns this on its head. Using this pedagogical approach, the students receive delivery of the content they need in a form of video or audio tutorials at home, so that face-to-face time with their teacher can be spent applying their learning to higher order tasks and receiving support where needed. Flipping the classroom first began in 2007 when a couple of American teachers named Bergman and Sams started recording their lectures over the top of their PowerPoint presentations for their students who weren't able to attend the lectures. The lectures soon spread, as did the technique. My first port of call, though, with flipped learning was the work of Katie Gimbar from the FIDE Institute in America. After checking out some of her frequently asked question videos on YouTube, I was actually ready to take my first steps and produce my own first flip videos and present it to my students.
So, my first few videos were a bit of a mishmash of styles and formats and different applications I used to make them. I could have used some of the commercially available videos like the Khan Academy ones, which everyone's probably seen on YouTube, but all the research I did suggested that it's much more beneficial for the students to see their own teacher's face and hear their own teacher's voice, much like this. So I gave them a bit of a rundown, sent them away to have a little go and watch the first videos. And of course I wanted to make sure they were actually interacting with the videos in some way, so I made sure they made some notes for me, answered a couple of short answer questions in order just to prove they had actually watched the videos. I also used entrance tickets for when they arrived at the class just to understand what they did and didn't know after watching the videos. So I soon had a sizable catalogue of videos that I could use with my students. At the time we used an online platform called Edmodo, so I posted the videos there, and then I moved on to actually share my videos via YouTube and also on our own school VLE. So the lessons were always ready there, prepared for the students, ready for them to get ready for the next lesson with me. It was great because students used to arrive at my door with all the facts and basic skills and knowledge they needed for us to use our face-to-face time together much more productively.
With a content-heavy subject like science, I found that my video tutorials freed up massive chunks of classroom time, which was a little bit daunting at first, to be honest. But then I decided I could actually use this time for literacy and numeracy tasks based on the content they'd already studied, and we could do some really meaningful practical work which would otherwise have been squeezed in around the content. We also had much more time for students to access ICT to demonstrate their learning and work on their presentation skills too. But most importantly, though, we had the chance to really apply their learning as I set problem-based lessons that we could explore together at a much more leisurely pace. The newly freed up time in class meant I was really able to spend time extending my top-end students, discussing and working through A-level questions with them. I also had much more freedom to support students that needed it, revising and applying what they'd already seen at home. This greater interaction with the students made formative feedback more frequent and meaningful, and most importantly, however, my lessons became more enjoyable and engaging both for the students and for me.
So, I realise that all of this is very anecdotal at the moment, but research carried out by other teachers have revealed that the effect size of this sort of intervention, as described by John Hattie, is around 0.8, which means it's actually a really significant intervention you can have for your learners. And I'm not pretending that it's easy or quick to produce these resources, but once you've got the knack of it and once you've started to produce your own videos, as we'll explore in the next video, you've got a bank and a catalogue of resources you can draw upon time and time again to help your students make brilliant progress. So that's it for our introduction to Flip Learning. In the next video, which is a bit more dynamic, we'll be finding out how to actually produce our own Flip resources before we go on to look at pushing these out to the kids. Any questions at all, don't hesitate to tweet me at Mr_Pepperell or leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks for stopping by.